Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council Chambers. This is a regularly scheduled City Council meeting. Call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. The time is 5:30 p.m. Pam, would you please, Chris, would you please take the roll call?
Put your mic on. Present.
Ridley.
Here.
Paulson.
Present.
Yondich. Present. Johnson.
Here.
Barnzelli. Here. And Mayor Cuffey.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everybody, and hope everybody had a safe and happy holiday season, and hope it continues through the new year. We're back to an order of business. This is the last City Council meeting of fiscal year 2021, and we look forward for more successes in 2022. So the item 4 on the agenda is the public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone from the general public to come forward and speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak before the council this evening? A hearing seeing none, we'll move to item 5, which is the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the City of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of the regular meeting that was held on December 14th, 2021, and the public hearing that was held on December 14th, 2021. Item 5.2 is the adoption of Finance Resolution Number 21-024, the schedule of bills. Item 5.3 is approve the following massage licenses for 2022. 5.3A, Steve Laptka, doing business as Masabi Therapeutic Massage. Item 5.3B, Angela Drake, doing business as Laurentian Divide Salon and Spa. Item 5.4 is approve the second-hand goods license for William Speltz, doing business as Twice as Nice. Item 5.5, approve the kennel license for Jane Lettinen, doing business as Grooming by Jane. Item 5.6 is approve the travel request for Chief Nicole Mattson of the Police Department to attend the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Executive Training Institute, April 4th through the 7th, 2022, in Duluth, Minnesota, at a cost of $510. Item 5.7 is approve the exempt permit for Northeast Minnesota Deer Hunters Camp to conduct a raffle at the Virginia Elks Lodge on March 5th, 2022. And finally, 5.8, approve the 2022 liquor license for Northern Divide Incorporated, doing business as Northern Divide Bar and Eatery. These are the items that are on the consent agenda, looking for council action.
I will move the consent agenda.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you. I just, I would like to pull 5.2. I just have a few questions on the schedule of bills.
Moved and supported.
Okay, it's moved and supported to approve the consent agenda, item 5.1 through 5.8. Councilor Beyondich has requested to withdraw item 5.2, adoption of Finance Resolution Number 21-024, the schedule of bills, from additional discussion. So looking for a motion to approve, looking for a vote to approve 5.1 through 5.8 for the exception of 5.2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, Motion carries. Back to item 5.2, the adoption of finance resolution number 21-024, the schedule of bills. Counselor Beyondich.
Thank you. On the schedule of bills, there's Hobart Service for 501.62, equipment maintenance for the restaurant. Could you tell me who that is and what they do?
I would have to look at the invoice.
I can jump in, Sherry.
Thanks.
Please.
That's the oven at the golf course restaurant.
Okay, thank you. And I have not seen an invoice. Have we been invoiced for the grand opening from the decorator and the restaurant?
No.
Are we going to be able to clean that up before December is over? We haven't received an invoice from them yet?
We're not going to get one from the decorator.
Okay.
The restaurant, I have not received one yet, no.
We expect to get one.
I will ask them again for one, but I have not seen one yet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those two items were answered satisfactorily. Counselor Beyondich. Okay, looking to approve, the motion has been made to adoption, motion to approve and supported to adopt all items, including 5.2. So if there's any further discussion on the adoption of finance resolution number 21-024, any additional comments on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries the approval of 5.2, and that concludes the consent agenda items on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Item 6 is appearances. There's no one scheduled to appear before the council this evening, but this is once again an opportunity for someone from the audience to come forward and address the council. Would anybody like to come and address the council at this time? Please come forward. Turn the green light on, if you would, please. And state your name for the record, and welcome to the council meeting.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Gregerson. I'm the new executive director at the Lyric Center for the Arts here in
Welcome.
Thank you, here in Virginia. I just wanted to drop by tonight. It was a little slower than anticipated with the roads, so I guess if we could add this to the record, thank you to all of our plow folks in Virginia who do a wonderful job. I just wanted to drop by, introduce myself. Thank you all for what you do, and just let you know that I'm around now, and I would love to, at some point, individually or as a group, get together and discuss the plans moving forward for that facility downtown. We've had to reevaluate our timeline in terms of the renovation because of COVID and that sort of thing. But I can be reached just by our website if anyone is interested. Otherwise, I look forward to meeting you all individually at some point.
Well, appreciate it. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for introducing yourself, and welcome. I don't know if you're from Virginia or from the area, but welcome to Virginia, Minnesota, in particular to the Lyric Center for the Arts. It's a very great organization, and they've done outstanding work. You have, as a group, has done outstanding work. So thank you very much for coming. Anybody have any questions, comments regarding this? Councilor Baraboo?
Yeah, just make sure you give your contact information to our city clerk, okay? So we can get it, because
Sounds
she'll
good.
forward it to us.
Cool. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure. Okay, item 7 on the agenda, which is unfinished business. There are 2 items on the agenda. First is item 7.2, the sale of the hospital. I think that the time has come. There has been some additional movement with respect to this, and I'll turn this over to our city attorney, Brian Lindsay, to talk about the document and moving forward with the finality of the sale.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Lindsay?
I am happy to report that we have received our clearance, our bond clearance from the state of Minnesota. That was the final hurdle that we needed to get over in order to accomplish this sale. That being said, I did make a kind of a late request for an addition to the agenda, and that is a document that should have been passed out. It's an addendum to the purchase agreement. And what this addendum does is it extends the date for potential closing out to January 14th. And I'll let you all know, we don't anticipate that it's going to take that long, but the reason for this additional addendum is simply coordinating signatures from the state of Minnesota during the holiday season has proved to be a little bit difficult, and the state must be generous with their vacation time. So we just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to get all of the signatures to the closing table at one time. We're anticipating that the closing will actually occur next week, But just out of caution, we've set the date for January 14th.
Thank you, Brian. Anything else from you, Britt? Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one question, maybe for Sherry. Does that impact, I'm really thankful we have a date, and it's fine that we've got the additional until January 14th, but does that impact our books at all when we've got that coming into 2022 in terms of depreciation on the value of the building?
Yeah, they will come off the books, the depreciation that.
So is it prorated, Sherry, until the closing date then? Okay, so it's going to very lightly impact.
Very lightly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Paulson. Okay, anyone else? Okay. No vote is necessary, no motion at this point in time, and we'll be notified. Pardon? We'll need a motion to approve the amendment to the purchase agreement. So looking for that motion.
Also, go ahead, Gary.
A move by Councilor Freelieb and supported by Councilor Baraboo to approve the amendment to the purchase agreement and the sale of the hospital. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 7.3, the rental code. We all have our books, and I have a number of items to be submitted after I finally got through the entire book, and for some recommended changes or additions to the rental code ordinance with respect to a couple of issues on landlord responsibility. So anybody else have anything, please move forward. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns with respect to the unfinished business item 7.3, the rental code ordinance? Seeing none, we'll move to item 8, discussion items. Item 8.1, adopt a resolution for the final pay estimate number 3, and that's nice, final pay estimate number 3, to Masaba Bituminous for the 2021 Silver Lake Trail project in the amount of $2,992.37. And if anybody needs any explanation what this is for, it's just to close out this project. Looking for a motion to approve the resolution adopting this final payment.
I'll move.
Councilor Paulson moves to approve, supported by Councilor Johnson. Further discussion, Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. Britt, do you know if Mr. Silber is planning some kind of ribbon cutting in June or something?
Not for the Silver Lake.
Okay,
Silver Lake Phase 2 starts in June.
Okay.
That's the walking, that's where we got the LCCMR money to do the floating bridge.
okay,
So the next phase of construction is going to start then. Bailey's Lake will be finishing up in June, so
Okay.
maybe on Bailey's Lake we'll be doing something.
okay. Yeah, I apologize. It's nice to see so much work going on around both lakes and
It is.
a lot of positive comments. So, but there will be, I know I've been asked, there will be, when both lakes are done, we will be celebrating those accomplishments appropriately.
Right now on Bailey's Lake, what we're working on this winter is we've been working with Masabi Sign. We are to have instructional signage on the lakes, what you can find in and around the lakes. And we're working with Masabi Sign right now on what that's going to look like. And
Perfect. Thank you, Britt.
Thank you. Item 8.2, or do we? Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed, motion carries. Item 8.2 is adopt the resolution accepting donations for Shop with a Cop. I see that they raised a significant amount of money, helped a lot of families this year. Kudos to all involved. Police department, the fire department, and stuff, the ambulance, and a lot of needy people and kids, and really had a really nice Christmas and the holiday season as a result of this generous program and donations from the public. So looking for a motion to approve the resolution accepting donations. Moved by Councilor Freely. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Johnson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Item 8.3 is adopt a resolution for the second reading of the conveyance of real estate to Ely Lake Seaplane Base LLC. This is the conveyance, if you all recall, we did take the seaplane base as part of the Airport Authority's jurisdiction and responsibility. We are now giving back the seaplane base, and this, I believe that the other city council has passed this at their December 10th meeting. Is that correct, Chris? And looking forward to us to do the same so we can convey this back to the seaplane base for private ownership, and this is the second reading.
I'll move the second reading.
Councilor
support.
Johnson moves to approve the second reading and supported by Councilor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
And Mayor, this also includes the grassy strip across the street.
Great. It's the entire property. Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.4, appoint Teresa Nystrom for a 6-year term to the Virginia Economic Development Authority ending 12/31 of 2027.
Also move, Mayor.
Move to appoint by Councilor Bearable. Is there support? Support by Councilor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.5, appoint Eric Barth for a 6-year term on the Virginia Economic Development Authority ending 12/31 of 2027.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson, supported by Councilor Barnzelli. Further discussion? Councilor Paulson.
Oh.
Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.6, adopt a resolution to make application for and accept funds from the IRRR Commercial Redevelopment Grant Program for the Malone Hall demo.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Johnson. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Just a clarification, this is owned by the school. We're making the request on their behalf to demo. Is that correct or is that not correct?
Owned by the public utilities.
Owned by, I'm sorry, owned by the public utilities, yes. Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.7 is adopt a resolution to hire recreation assistants for the outdoor rinks.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Freely. Is there support? Support by Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. This concludes my part of the program and the city council meeting. So I will move to committee reports. Item 9, the committee of the whole meeting that was held on December 21st, 2021. And we'll turn this portion of the city council meeting over to our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
Thank you. At the Committee of the Whole meeting on December 21st, the council reviewed the quotes for new flooring at the library. After discussion, it was moved and supported to move forward with the purchase of new flooring from Hiller Commercial Flooring for the Virginia Public Library for the children's room in the amount of $13,574.50, and for the carpet in the west main floor in the amount of $34,757, utilizing the state bid contract.
And we do have grant funds to cover this, correct? We do. Thank you.
Portion of it was budgeted for next year, and then
very
the
good.
portion for the children's room was committed to funds that we had received when we sold land to the school.
Very good. Thank you very much. Councilor Johnson?
I will move the purchase of the carpeting as presented.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve the resolution of the purchase of new flooring from Hiller Commercial Flooring at the Virginia Public Library Children's Room in the amount of $13,574.50 and the west main floor in the amount of $34,757, utilizing state bid contract. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Councilor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to also clarify that the criteria for, under state bid guidelines, is it 125,000 or 175,000? We just increased, or it just increased, so
Your question?
My question is, what's the threshold? That's the first question. The second, at committee level, I just wasn't able to support this, and I'm not going to be able to support this going forward. And it's not that the library doesn't need the carpet, but I was able to reach out to 2 local carpet suppliers that actually do commercial and have experience with doing libraries that were not contacted about this project at all. And according to, if we go out for requests for quotes, we can go up to those requests for quotes for up to a certain dollar value, and I want to say 175 before we actually, as a city, are required to go with a state bid. So, and I just in reiteration, when we had gone through this process with the design team at the Iron Trail Motors Event Center, we had kind of really worked toward local and purchasing local and making sure that our, basically our department heads understood, that we as a city wanted to work with local people as much as possible. So I totally understand that the library needs the carpet, and it is nothing against that. It's just about our process and making sure that we are diligent about incorporating and including local businesses, as well as having our department heads understand the threshold, what it takes to either get requests for quotes under that state bid guideline, because that threshold is up to $175,000, and this, we could have gone out for quotes from anyone and accepted whomever we chose, locally or not locally. So again, that's the reason I'm not going to support this. And in the next year, I would like to see anything that we are going to be purchasing for department heads to have some training and understanding what that criteria is and how that has changed, so that they understand, the level that they can, what the direction that they should be going in as a department head. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Paulson. Is any further discussion with respect to this motion? Hearing and seeing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
No.
I'm sorry.
Beyondich. Johnson.
Yes.
Baranzelli. Yes. Mayor Cuffey.
Yes.
Baraboo.
Yes.
Ridley.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2. Thank you.
Thank you. There was discussion regarding the bids that were received for the police garage repair. As you recall, we had a fire at our police garage. After a very long process, we dealing with the insurance company, we have been notified we are going to receive a dollar amount, a little over $407,000 for the repair of the existing police garage. After some discussion with the council, we had asked to do a bid and add alternate to see what the potential cost would be to add an addition to the garage. So we had sought bids for repair of the base of the garage, and then what it would cost to add for an addition. At the meeting, there was discussion and 2 failed motions on awarding the bid and the bid and alternate. And at this time, we are here with no motion to move forward.
Okay, thank you. And just at committee level, there was a motion to move by awarding the bid. Obviously, it's in our packet to award the bid in its entirety, both the bid, a base bid and the alternative bid to Johnson Wilson Constructors in $690,000. That failed, so we're back here at the city council meeting to make a decision on what we want to do, if we want to continue to move forward with this, or we want to make an adjustment to awarding one or both of these bids. And we have received information from our city attorney that we do not have to accept both bids. We can just accept the base bid. And it's not necessary for us to take them both together. So that's an alternative that we have. So that being said, I'll move to the council for additional information, discussion, or motion. Councilor Beyondich.
And I'm not sure I understood completely what happened on Tuesday when the tabling motion was made so we could gather that information and come back and not get rid of the work that had already been done. The tabling motion was just to gather more information, and that tabling motion failed. But so did the rest of the project. So I'm not sure how that happened, but now we start at square one again. And maybe we need to clarify exactly what we're looking for. Looking at the plans tonight, I don't think I'd seen the plans that were on the table. So we need more clarity on what we're looking for. And like I said, the tabling motion was merely to get the information and still keep the process in place. And that failed, but, so the whole project went down, so it was kind of confusing for me.
Well, maybe if we can add a little clarity for you, Counselor Beyondich. We are at a position now where we can make a decision. We're not technically back at square one. We just have the ability to make a decision on one or both of these projects moving forward. So we can vote just for the base bid and award it, or we can go with the motion to award them both together. But if we do, we're required to take the lowest responsible bid whether we do the base bid or whether we do both of them together. So we can take that action tonight without delaying the process any further unless we're not satisfied with the information that was provided here today. From my perspective, I'm ready to move forward. I think last Tuesday there was some significant discussion about whether we need the added alternative or not. We did get, was it $407,000 some dollars from the insurance company. And so I think the low bid for the base bid is $434,000. We do anticipate some additional settlement from Ford Motor Company with respect to the recall on the one police cruiser that caught fire. So we're looking at some additional funds for that to cover the base bid. And I do agree, I think in a discussion from my perspective with Councilor Freely as well, to add $291,000 or $261,000 for the add alternative seems to be a lot of money for 600 square feet as well. I'm prepared to move forward with a decision tonight, so I'll reserve the rest of my comments later. Let's go around the room, starting with from left to right. First, Councilor Paulson, and then we'll go around the room to the other councilors. Thank you. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I was trying to find the original bid from, the base bid from Lindsay. I would like to make a motion to accept the lowest base bid from Lindsay at the amount stated from our committee packet, which I don't have in front of me, unfortunately.
$434,000?
$434,000. So that would be my motion, and just to kind of move on with the bid alt portion of it, maybe potentially wait and see what we might get in terms of additional insurance dollars to weigh in on the bid alt side of that, or the additional addition. Thank you. I'll move to approve Lindsay at the $434,000.
Okay, so Councilor Paulson is moved to approve, to move forward with a base bid for the police garage repair to Lindsay Enterprises in the amount of $434,000. Is that correct? Is there support for that?
Support for discussion.
Support by Councilor Freely for discussion. Further discussion, Councilor Freely.
I guess, like, we never had additional space, so, and I'm still not, haven't had it clarified to me yet. Like, the vehicles had to remain running because of the computer technology, even when they were parked inside, from what I understand, which eventually caused the fire or had some reasoning for that. But so I guess I'm of the mind, like, why would we need the additional space anyhow? That's why I'm more supportive of this base bid, to get it reconditioned, reconstructed to the level that it was at to accommodate the vehicles that it did. And then how this ties into the future building that we're planning on building and should be building and will be building over on 2nd Avenue. Will that be accommodating of all of the vehicles that we currently have on fleet? And even then, when they're housed inside of a garage, will they not still have to run 24/7? I don't understand why they wouldn't have to.
No, they won't have to because they're heated. It's a heated area because the car has to be warm in order when they respond immediately. So there's plugins available inside the facility to keep the computers, keep the battery from dying, or it's really the battery life. There's so much computer stuff in there. If you turn the squad car off with no other power source, it runs the battery down, the car won't start. That's basically the issue.
So this original garage did not have heat either, and that's why those had to be running when they were inside, or were they not? I thought they were running.
Well, they don't have to be running inside the garage. They do not.
Well, so I guess I'm of the mind I'm supporting that too. First of all, it's to a local vendor for one thing, and it's to reconstruct and reestablish the space that we had available in anticipation of having more than enough space in a couple of short years for the fleet that we have. And I think the additional expense for the couple of years prior to and during construction, I think is excessive to have that minimal space provided. So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Freely. Anybody else? Councilor Baraboo, and then we'll move to the other side of the aisle. Councilor Baraboo.
After taking a look at this again, I'm in agreement that we should just do the base bid because all these years we've had this number of vehicles less one, and half of them have been running outside anyway for many, many, many years. What's the difference if we wait another couple of years? If we're getting bad problems, the vehicles running outside and have to have them repaired all the time, I don't see the issue because we've had them running for many, many years outside because we've only had room for part of the fleet. And they have more people on shift than they had room for in the old garage. So I'm in agreement that we just use the base bid and leave the other alternate go.
Thank you. Well, back in the day, when I worked many moons ago on the Virginia Police Department, we kept their squad cars running as well outside because if they were cold, you had to start them up. Whether it's snowing out, you got to clear the windshield, you got to go to emergency call, you got to go. The engines are running. If you start the engine cold, you go at high speeds, you could damage the vehicle. In this particular case, when modern technology come to play, it's the battery life that's a problem. So if the computer systems, to get enough power, they run the battery gets run down, and the computers have to reestablished. Back then, you didn't have those computers, so now it's even more imperative that those vehicles continue to run outside the vehicle because in the catalytic converter issue as well. So because I think our chief of police was here explaining the costs associated with not being able to park vehicles inside. So there's different ways in which to accomplish the goals and objectives by minimizing the loss of the catalytic converters by rotating the squad cars on a regular basis, 4 hours or 6 hours at a time. They work 12 hours. So a lot of things that can be done to move forward. But by putting this base bid together, we'll be able to at least house 3 vehicles in there that'll continue to be warm and work on that as well. So that's the perspective I come, and I'm supportive of the base bid moving forward. Councilor Johnson.
I will not be supporting just the base bid, and I've got a multitude of reasons why, but the biggest one comes from being on-duty officers. The second they walk out this door, they're a target. One of the most impactful things that was said to me by one of our officers is on one of my first ride-alongs. We came out of the squad room, out the south door, and he stopped me and he said, every time I come out this door, I look to see who's out here. This is before the county building, there's houses. He said, this badge is a target. And to come outside and get into a car as opposed to coming inside, getting in a car and leaving in the safety of a vehicle is a huge, huge thing for me. It has a lot to do with the times we live in. I also see this as being an opportunity for us to utilize that space differently once the police department moves. We have vehicles, we have the parking monitor vehicle, which I don't think there's plans to house that inside the public safety center. We have a truck that our planning department uses. Right now, we have a shed outside because we don't have any place to store the lawnmower and the snow blower and the shovels and that kind of stuff. And I look at the space down there 10, 15 years as the possibility of having a ground floor entrance, a main entrance to this building where people don't have to come into an empty hallway, try to figure out which floor to get on and come into a building. There can be a welcome room down there in 10 years where that's where we have someone sitting when they come into City Hall and they're greeted, no stairs, no elevators, no nothing. I also have concern that the base bids are $64,000 difference for the base bid. The alternatives are $69,000 different, with the total price of being different of just $5,000. I'm very concerned about what change orders are going to look like and what that looks like after this project is done. How are we going to ensure, and things are unforeseen, obviously. It's an old building. We're bringing a very old portion of a building, not only just cleaning it up, but bringing it up to code, sprinklers and stuff. I don't know. I don't read engineer, so I don't know exactly what that said. But I think that if by not approving the whole base bid and the alternative, I think we're missing a huge opportunity looking forward more than 3 or 5 years. And the difference in the base bid of $64,000 really bothers me a lot, that in the end, they're only $5,000 difference. I don't know what it says to me, but it does say something to me. So those are the reasons I won't support just the base bid. I don't think it's feasible that in a couple months we then agree to the add alternate. I don't think that that makes any sense, because we can't choose the other company to do the add alternate because it's cheaper. And then that would put us in contradiction to what we needing to take the lowest bid. If in a month or 2 months we go, oh, by the way, we want to throw on the extra $261,000. Now we've not chosen the lowest bid. We've chosen the more expensive bid. So for safety being my number one priority of our officers being safe when they leave this building, not having to worry about falling on snow. I don't know if any of you paid attention when you were coming upstairs. The person that shovels leaves at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and nothing gets shoveled outside at night. When there's a major snowstorm, they have to climb over berms at 5 o'clock in the morning after the plows go by, going out the back door or going out the side doors. This garage would allow most of our officers on duty, if they can get 4 cars in there, that's everybody on duty on a shift, to be able to come from inside, go into the garage, get in the car, and leave safely without worrying about falling, worrying about ice, worrying about someone standing outside the door. For those reasons, I'm not going to be supporting just the base bid for this plan. I think we're missing a huge opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Johnson. Counselor Beyondich.
Thank you. And I will support the base bid. We don't know what we're using that area for afterwards. We do have a main entrance to come into this facility with an elevator to get wherever they need to go. Change orders, that is one thing that has always concerned me, no matter what the project is. And I will stand firm on change orders. When they give us a bid, that building should be able to fall in those parameters pretty closely. So I also have a concern about the change orders, but I will go ahead and support the base bid. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just make one really quick comment with respect to that. Counselor Johnson, you brought up safety of the officer. Every time an officer gets in out of their squad car, no matter where they are, they're a target. No question about that. And these times that we have, it's unfortunate that the police officers are targets in an environment they shouldn't be. We are 100% supportive of our police officers, and there's no way that we are making a decision tonight that's going to jeopardize their safety because we're not adding an alternative to the garage. They can fit 3 squad cars in there the way it is now. So there'll be 3 squad cars in there. When the new facility gets built, they'll have all their vehicles over there. We'll still have space for 3 vehicles within City Hall, which to encumber that. So I think it's prudent for us to move forward with at least the base bid, and that's the motion on the floor today. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Bearable.
I just have one quick discussion item. When we go out for other projects with state bid projects, if we decide to add an amendment or something to add to that base bid, we can go up to 20% above that base bid, even if it's a state bid, and still accept that for an add-on to the project. So what's the difference? The $6,000, for me, I don't believe that if you really look at the state stuff you can tack on right now, if you want to do the whole works with one manufacturer or one contractor, even though they're $6,000 more than the state bid. I think if you really look into that, but I'm still going to support the base bid. Because we're still going to end up with cars running outside, because we got 4 officers on shift, sometimes more, in the winter months, depending what's going on in the city. And then they need to rotate those vehicles. They don't just rotate 3 vehicles, they rotate more than that. I think they rotate 6, if I remember right. So they're gonna have to go into those garages, put the cold ones in there, and take the warm ones out, or however they're gonna do it. But we can solve that problem with just the 3 cars right now until we get the new facility built. That's my perspective.
Thank you, Councilor Bearbusso. It has been moved and supported to accept the base bid awarded to Lindsay Enterprises in the amount of $434,000. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Paulson.
Mayor, one more point. The difference between the insurance money, which is $407,000, and the base bid, which is $434,000, is around $27,000. Do we have that currently in our budget to be able to, I mean, I know that General Motors, we're still going to be working with them regarding possible insurance money coming forward, but do we have that in our budget currently to be able to bridge that gap as well?
Sherry?
Mayor, Council, yes. Contingency fund, yes, we have it there.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you. Okay, has been moved and supported to award the base bid to Lindsay in the amount of $434,000. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Chris.
Counselor Beyondich.
No.
Counselor Barnzelli. Yes. Mayor Cuffey.
Aye.
Baraboo.
Aye.
Lieb.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Thank you. Rena Monson from Pantheon Computers presented information regarding Pantheon's contract with the city. After discussion with Rena and with Roger from Rogers Online, it was moved and supported to direct city staff to review the current contracts and to determine the best use of the contracts in place with Pantheon and Rogers Online and determine if additional services may be needed.
Thank you.
So moved.
Councilor Johnson moves to approve that and to direct staff. Is there support?
Support for discussion.
Support by Councilor Freely for further discussion. For further discussion, Councilor Freely.
Whether I'm correct on this or not, but after the discussion we had and listening to both representatives who we contract with, it still seems to me that the $95 per hour that we're being charged by one other contractor to do work that comes under the umbrella of Pantheon's contract, that money should be billed to Pantheon, and they should be paying him, not the city, for those additional services. I mean, that's how it appeared to me. So that's my only concern, is that we're paying additional monies for contractors already that are contracted with the city and paying additionally for services that should be provided under the umbrella of Pantheon, but because of the logistics that are difficult for them to get here and the costs that we would incur for that, they're more than happy to have the one on site do the work as long as we pay for that. And I think that's not correct or right for us to be doing that. So I would suggest we look into that further and see why Pantheon's not the one paying for those additional costs that we're incurring for things that come under their umbrella of their contract. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I think one other part of that discussion item, and the staff will come back with a recommendation, some clarification. If Pantheon's going to come up from where they're at, it's more than $95 an hour, so technically we're saving some cash here. And so it's just a logistics thing about, what's fair and what's not fair, or what Pantheon's willing to do, or what Rogers Online is willing to do, and they are willing to continue to do that, and they have been in the past and indicated at the last Tuesday's meeting they would gladly continue to do that in the future. So, but, to clean that up, to solidify that, I think is important for us to get that clarification moving forward. And Britt, do you have any other comments about
Absolutely, and I
that?
think there's a lot of discussion that staff needs to have, department heads need to have with their staff about who you should be calling when you have these kind of questions. That sometimes it's not automatically you call Roger because he's standing in front of you. We are paying Pantheon, you need to call Pantheon, not Roger because he's standing in front of you. We already are paying for that service. We're not going to double pay for that service. You need to pay for the company we're already paying for. So it's some of that training and clarification we need to have with our staff.
And we're looking forward to those kind of explanations moving forward, Britt. Thank you. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? First, Councillor Paulson, then over to Councillor Beyondich. Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to point out that there's no resolution in our packet because there's no contract that is up for either Pantheon or Rogers. So we actually don't need to have a motion on the floor, in my opinion, because there's no action that needs to be taken.
Well, his motion is to direct staff. The motion is to direct staff to look into it and come back with some clarification on if there's
So,
double.
but there's no motion, there's no resolution in our packet to
No.
be referencing. So do we need a resolution to?
Not necessarily, no, I can definitely just do this without,
Okay,
without council.
very good.
motion.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. But thank you, Councillor Paulson. Councillor Beyondich.
you. In following this discussion, I think when Pantheon's contract comes up, we need to look and maybe negotiate some of that travel time, because we pay a lot to have them, and for them to be out of the area and have to bill us for the travel time to come here to make repairs. I think that's kind of the issue, is that it's easier to have Rogers Online do it, but they are specific to the police department and the security issues with that. So I think when that contract is up, we need to look at that and see what we're being billed for. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. And I think, and as our Britt, our city administrator, has indicated, that sometimes you will have somebody just ask Rogers to do it when it's a Pantheon's responsibility, and they could call Pantheon, and maybe they don't have to come up there. Maybe they can do it remotely. So, I think that's the issue. And so to get the clarification from that is important. So we have a motion on the floor to direct staff and to come back with some clarification and things of that nature. It's not a contract issue as far as a violation of a contract or extending a contract. It's directly just get some clarification on what we could do in the future about, whatever you're going to do. If you've were asking staff to do, make the cost of the appropriate, a level of service. So thank you. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
The council received and filed a letter from North St. Louis Soil and Water Conservation District regarding stormwater management.
Okay,
A resolution was presented to hire Ms. Lee Hogan as the utility worker for the Iron Trail Motors Event Center.
there is a resolution in our packet. So looking for a motion to approve the resolution, adopt the resolution to approve the hire of Ms. Lee Haugen as a utility worker full-time for the city of Virginia.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Councillor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution was presented and approved to hire Antonio Pizzelli for the library maintenance position.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Johnson, supported by Councillor Beyondich to adopt a resolution to hire Antonio Pizzelli for the library maintenance position. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to approve the purchase agreement for the property located at 102 8th Street South being purchased by the city of Virginia.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson to approve the purchase. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Paulson. Further discussion? Anything on that agenda, John?
Thank you, Mayor. Not that I know of, unless our attorney Brian has anything. I know he has the purchase agreement. I know he has the appraisal. We talked about it. The review appraisal came in. It's all ready to go.
Very good. Thank you, John.
Yep.
We're
I think
good?
it's going to close fairly soon, to my knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Anything else, Brian?
Nothing to add. Everything appears to be in good order there.
Okay, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bearable.
My brain is fading me. Do we have 2 readings on this, Brett, or just one? The purchase, you only need 1, a property? I thought we had to have 2. Huh. So why are we doing 2 on, from private to,
2 to sell.
pardon?
2 to sell.
I thought we always had 2 to purchase also. Am I wrong on that? Because we've purchased a lot of other properties around town, it's always been 2 readings. Maybe we've been doing this wrong all these years. I mean, I know to sell property, but why would you have it opposite? Because maybe I'm wrong, Brian.
I think what we've done is, when we purchase property, we approved the purchase of these properties. We approved the appraisal of the properties. We approved for our representative to go out and negotiate the property. When it comes back for us, the negotiated property that was come to an agreement, and that we have an agreement before us to purchase this property. If we sell a piece of property because it's owned by the city, I think we have to have 2 readings. But if I look for some clarification for Councilor Bearable about that, Brian, I don't think we need that. We just need the 1, right?
We don't always go for appraisals when we buy a piece of property either. Not always if the seller's agreeing to sell it to us.
This is part of the Public Safety Center transactions.
Yeah, I know what it's for.
Yeah, so we have to do the appraisal and a review appraisal.
But that's for we're buying this direct though, correct?
Oh, no, this has
We're
been,
going through the process.
this has been part of the process, the
That's a different
relocation
story then.
process and all
Okay.
this. Yes.
That's a
Right.
different story then. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Bearable. It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the final item from that meeting was moved and supported to direct staff to negotiate with the property owner of parcel code 090-0137-0030, which is property that is abutting 13th Street South.
Remember, this is property that we need for
Our street project.
for a street project. Thank you. Councilor Johnson, see your lights on. Councilor Johnson is moving to approve to direct staff to negotiate the property for this parcel, which is 090-0137-00030. Is there support?
I'll support Mayor since it's my committee that does all that street work.
Supported by Councilor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
No further items from that meeting?
Thank you, Britt. Move to item 10 on the agenda, which is commission liaison reports. Does any city council have a commission liaison report that they'd like to give this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to item 11, department head reports. Britt, anything else further?
No, no further items.
Thank you. Brian, any other information that you want to disseminate to us?
Nothing additionally, Mayor.
Thank you, Brian. Anything from you, Sherry? And anything more from you, Mr. Sullivan?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And anything from our city clerk? Was it follow it all? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to item number 12, is council reports. Does any city council have a report they'd like to give?
I don't
Councilor
have,
Bearable?
I don't have a report, but I have had a request. Maybe a month ago, a month and a half ago, we approved allowing the I can't think of the name of the school up on, the mall up on North Side to put out clothing for people on that shelter. And we're supposed to send them a letter, and they're waiting for the letter so they don't want to put anything out there without knowing how they can do it and what they're allowing to do. So we've got stuff all lined up for the cold weather for people that need clothing that are either need shelter or homeless or whatever.
Are you talking about the property on 6th Avenue?
No, 9th Avenue.
This is the one on 9th Avenue.
Yeah, it's the one on 9th. No, the property on 6th Avenue, but the school's up on 9th Avenue.
Right, but the property, you're talking about the
Yeah, the
property on
shelter,
6th Avenue?
the shelter.
Where that little shelter area is there? Yeah, there are things now and people are utilizing it, and I see a
But
big need for that.
They wanted permission for their records from the city, and
Okay.
we said we would do that. So
I
they're
think-
waiting for that.
I think we did make a motion and approve that at.
Yeah, we did do that, but they're still waiting for the letter. is
Okay,
all.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Counselor Bearable. Okay, anything else? Bueller? Anyone? No? No other further information or discussion to come before the council meeting today. We will now adjourn this meeting to our next council meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, January 11, 2022 at 5:30 PM. Happy New Year, everybody. We stand adjourned.